Valeron was a commanding, tenacious Lord Celestant. He thoroughly stood behind his Lord Sigmar's take the fight to the enemy style of strategic intervention. During the Realmgate Wars, he earned a name for himself within the Astral Templar's chamber of Stormcast Eternals for ensuring the defense of a Realmgate matrix within Guran, managing to entirely stem the demonic incursion pouring through. He eventually came to blows with Farax, a mighty Lord of Khorne, at this point an infamous fighter and hugely distrusted ally for all Chaos Warbands. He would regularly send scores of his own men to their deaths just to please Khorne, and of course, Khorne was pleased. Valeron fought Farax in brutal combat, and eventually slew him, crushing his skull upon the earth, and of course, Khorne was displeased. With the Blood God's ire raised, he sent Cracksnax, bloodthirster of the 8th host, to end Valeron's reign of impudence, and so he did. Huge, leathery wings blocked the sun from sight, and with a mighty roar, a massive hoof thundered into him, entirely caving in his chestplate, and he did not die quickly. But such is the boon of the Stormcast Eternals, and Valeron was reforged by the Lord Relictor Lanos. It was the first time this had happened to him, and he was unnerved to find a dull pain within his chest, where the damage had been done by Cracksnax. Valeron found a sinful enjoyment with the actions alone had earned the wrath. Valeron found a sinful enjoyment that his actions alone had earned the wrath of the Blood God. Though this was short-lived, the Bloodthirster could not comprehend reforging. Valeron found a sinful enjoyment that his actions alone had earned the wrath of the Blood God. Though this was short-lived, the Bloodthirster could not comprehend reforging, nor was he aware of his true success. Cracksnax knew one thing for now: the hunt was still on. And so it went, time after time. Valeron led his Stormhost into battle to find the mighty Bloodthirster surging towards him. He became impaled, dismembered, dichotomized, eviscerated and crushed. He was broken, decapitated, truncated, incinerated, mutilated, and if he tried to flee, was clutched by a barbed whip and asphyxiated until dead. Each time Valeron died a death, he was reforged, and each time an echo of the pain remained, and each time Khorne would chuckle in his ear. The mirth in his ear soon became too much. He was frustrated by his constant failure, irritated by his impetuous predator, and angered from the constant, aching pain. Anger turned to fury, fury became rage, and after his most recent reforging, rage became wrath. In a blinded butchery, he buried his hammer into the Lord Relictor's helmet, utterly caving his head in on the first strike, though he still swung 53 more times, venting everything that had been building up inside. In his final act of malevolence, Khorne entombed Lanos' soul within the hammer, binding his essence to its Sigmarite, reforging him into a weapon of war, writhing against his bonds. That day, Valeron became Valeroth, and his fury never subsided. He roared his guttural abuse at Khorne and vowed that he would slay the Bloodthirster that stalked him still. His gore-encrusted armor was never cleaned, and his hammer was never out of his hand. The hunt was on. A Bloodthirster is no simple quarry. For one, it's not always known if they reside within the mortal realms or some demonic dominion. Valeroth knew that he may have to summon the beast himself in order to slay him, and so he carved his way across Guran, trying to find a large enough beast that could be sacrificed to please his would-be master, the Blood God. During his travels, he picked up followers willing to fight for him. Some were far more devoted to the Blood God than him. This included a giant of a man, a priest known as Chuckles, a dark, twisted name resulting from his ability to force laughter on foes until they helplessly vomit and their sides split open, pouring organs forth. Chuckles knew of the lair of a beast, one mighty enough that, if its skull was collected, could summon a greater demon. And its only protection was a small gathering of undead warriors.
So here are how the forces of the first battle were deployed. On the bottom right-hand corner, you've got Khorne Valeroth's bloodied rabble. You've got 10 Blood Reavers, 10 Blood Warriors, Chuckles, and Valeroth himself. Then on the top left-hand corner, you've got the White King opposing the army, 10 Skeleton Warriors, and 2 units of 5 Graveguard. And slap bang in the centre is the Quarry, the Vargo, and he was going to be the one that hopefully would be able to be killed. It starts with the Khorne forces running headfirst towards the foe, but the Vargo had other ideas. He kind of stomps off towards the Graveguard and the skeleton forces, who then start coming towards them. They're looking to more protect the Vargo than kill it, and they were hoping to get in the way of the Blood Warriors doing that. Unfortunately, one of the Graveguards slips and smashes his head on the frozen ice lake, which was hilarious, and promptly causes the other Blood Warriors to rush forward against them again as they gain the initiative. Equally, it seems that having the Blood Warriors nearby is putting the Vargo into a bit of bloodlust, so he charges forward and smashes straight into those Graveguard and tears all of them apart, smashing their broken bones into the frozen lake, which is looking very good for the hordes of the Bloodbound. Unfortunately, as the Bloodbound move forward towards the den of the Vargo, it gets a bit defensive over. He turns around and runs straight into the Blood Warriors, arms flailing, and smashes 3 of them into the ground, taking their heads clean off and biting limbs left, right, and centre. The Blood Warriors, however, not concerned by this outburst of anger and rage from the Vargo, pile in around it and start hacking chunks out of its flesh. They plink 6 wounds of its total of 8. And Chuckles, seeing his moment, flanks around the side, trying to get into the rear of it so he can embed his massive axe into it and take its skull. Meanwhile, the Valeroth himself charges forward to try and he spies the White King out of the back, and he's making a beeline straight for him. And meanwhile, the Blood Reavers are going to go straight into the Graveguard to try and fend them up and stop them coming around and helping. So Chuckles goes in here with his big axe, and Valeroth smashes straight into the White King, and he's going to do some damage there. The Blood Reavers manage to kill 3 Graveguard, which is a good start, and Valeroth does take a chink out of his armour for his trouble of piling in and does nothing in return. When the Vargo attacks, he managed to smash 2 more Blood Warriors into the ground, into the snowy mess, and then Chuckles brings up his axe and he takes the thing's head off. And with that massive axe blow, decapitating the massive creature, the skeletons fall back and disappear, with the skull of the Vargo being taken for Valeroth's use.
And so Chuckles buried his hands into the creature's corpse and unceremoniously dislodged its skull, pulling forth the bloody trophy with a sickening crunch. He held this crown aloft and smiled. This could be what he's looking for. Under the scrutiny of Chuckles' gaze, some of Valeroth's followers built a monument around the skull of the fallen beast. It was crude, but an effective gate between realms. Given the time, a bloodthirster could be summoned through. Chuckles was sure of it.
So, after collecting the skull of the Vargo, it's taken back for the second battle plan, which is it's not the ritual, but it's kind of a similar one for Path to Glory, where so on the right hand side, that little stone statue thing is the ritual site, and Chuckles is just in front of that with a kind of bodyguard of Blood Reavers, and then just up from them are the 10 Blood Warriors and Valeroth. Then on his side, starting at the top, he's got 10 Skeleton Warriors, then another unit of 5 Graveguard, then below that is the White King and a unit of 10 Graveguard. So one of those units has been upgraded by 5 men. Or 5 skeleton men. Equally, because the Blood Warriors in the last game killed the Vargo, they were given a reward, and they were given once per game. I can roll a dice for every slain model, and on a 5 or a 6, I get that model back. That should be very useful. So basically, the idea is I roll a dice in every one of my hero phases, and add 1 if there's a priest nearby or wizard. And I need to get to 20 before he gets his general, the White King, into contact with the statue or the ritual site and destroy it. So we're also using one of the Times of War, the Jotunberg Vortex, which is absolutely hilarious. So I get to go first, and I kind of just I leave. I roll like a 4 on the ritual, so that goes up a little bit. I leave Chuckles and the Blood Reavers behind there to guard it. I move my Blood Warriors and Valeroth forward. There's not really a whole lot else that happens, so we go to his turn, and he also charges forward. In his phase, he rolls on the Time of War, and he turns Chuckles into a into a giant ice statue. So he can't do anything in my next turn, which was sad. So there's nothing else that happens. We go to my turn again, and when I roll the Times of War, I roll one of the ones where I pick one of his units and it gets lost in the icy fog. So I pick his White King. So he wanders off and gets lost in the fog, which is perfect for me. But unfortunately, Chuckles doesn't snap out of the ice. But I do get some charges in. I throw my Blood Warriors into the Graveguard. I try to get Valeroth into the skeletons, but he doesn't make it. So they've only got one choice of what to attack with first. I attack with Blood Warriors, and the Blood Warriors do what Blood Warriors do and delete the entire unit of Graveguard, which was perfect. Thank God for that. Fortunately then, Chuckles smashes out of his icy tomb, and I roll another, I think I'll roll a 3 on the dice, so I've got a total of 9 on the ritual thing. However, because after the White King wandered off into the icy mist, he reappears, and he reappears right behind the ritual site. I didn't consider that. So he just charges straight into the back of the Blood Reavers, which is a bit interesting. And he also charges into Valeroth with his Skeleton Warriors, and the back of the Blood Warriors with his Graveguard. This is the one he does first, and he does really badly. He kills like 1 Blood Reaver, it's no big deal. So I attack first with Valeroth, and I'm able to kill 5 skeletons, which is not bad at all for him. Then he attacks with his Graveguard. I think he puts like a wound, or maybe kills a Blood Warrior, but nothing significant. So I then pile him with Chuckles. He launches to the white with his axe, and he does do a wound or 2. Oh no, sorry, I do absolutely nothing. And then the Blood Reavers pile in and put a single wound onto the white. Then my Blood Warriors pile in, and they kill 3 of the Graveguard. Obviously I couldn't get that many into combat, but it's not a bad start. So we go to the initiative roll-off, and I do win it, which is very fortunate. So I roll on the dice, I roll like a 6 on the table or something. I'm on a total of 17 now, so I'm 1 roll away from winning the game and getting the ritual off. So I pile into combat. I pile in with Chuckles first. I'm able to put 4 wounds on, or 3 more wounds onto the white. So he's only got a single wound left, I believe. And then he kills, and the white attacks, and manages to smash apart 5 of the Blood Reavers, which is pretty good going. I then attack with Valeroth, able to kill another 3 skeletons, so not bad. And I'm able to quite easily kill the rest of the Graveguard. I think he actually kills one, and I kill him back with my with the guy who went down, so that's quite fun. And then we go into his turn, and he rolls for destroying the ritual, and he manages to make the roll, destroying the ritual site, eliminating the possibility of me summoning what I needed to out of it. So this is him standing on top of the ritual site. So there you go, that's the end of the second game.
Chuckles roared with rage. His massive axe came hurtling down towards the white, who stepped aside and sent a backhand swing with his black axe towards Chuckles. It buried into his thigh, only swelling the fury in Chuckles' eyes. A massive fist darted out and caught the white in the jaw. Chuckles had left his axe behind and proceeded to beat the white with his fists, each punch a thunderous blow that could cripple a normal man. But this white was a lord of bones, and could not be felled so easily. He reeled from the attack, but eventually saw an opening. He darted in and slammed the haft of his great weapon into the side of Chuckles' head. The giant man slowly collapsed. So the white grasped Chuckles' legs and dragged him away. Valeroth knew little of Chuckles, but he did not know that he had Valeroth knew little of Chuckles, but he did know that he had a valuable ally He pursued Krell across the desolate, icy landscape, and conditions worsened. Some of his followers were frozen solid by isolated pockets of unnaturally cold frost, and others were blasted apart entirely by unpredictable, razor-sharp gales. Eventually he was found. Chuckles was bound to a crucifix made of bones, and the Wight was at his side. He had a sacrificial dagger in his hand, and a number of small cuts had already been inflicted on Chuckles' muscly form. Valeroth knew time was short, so called out the charge.
So, as Chuckles has been taken captive, we go to the third game, and on the top left-hand corner is where he is. So Chuckles is being kept captive at the top corner with the Wight next to him, and he'll do sort of D3 mortal wounds to Chuckles every turn, and I've got to get to him before he dies. Fortunately, he has got an extra 6 wounds, so 1 more than usual here, so he's a bit more resilient at least. He's also got 5 Graveguard by there, then he's got 10 Graveguard beneath them, and 10 Skeleton Warriors to the right. On the board, I'm only starting with Valeroth, my 10 Blood Reavers on the bottom right-hand corner. I've got my 10 Blood Warriors kind of in reserve, and they outflank, so they'll be coming on the bottom board edge in basically my first turn. So he gives me the first turn. I took the first turn because I wanted to get as close as possible, as quickly as possible. And the first thing I do is we're using the Jotunberg Vortex again, and I roll the ice to freeze Krell, so he can't actually do the mortal wounds to to Chuckles as he should. So that was perfect timing for me. Other than that, we go into the movement. My Blood Warriors come on the bottom left-hand corner, and my Blood Reavers just run a full pelt towards him. You just need to get there as soon as possible. And in his turn, he does actually unfreeze the Wight King and do a single wound to Chuckles, so at least there's that. Other than that, his Graveguard and Skeleton Warriors come piling towards the Blood Warriors and Blood Reavers respectively. He does then get a double turn, and he charges towards the Blood Warriors and the Blood Reavers with the same units and charges in. He managed to get both of them in, which is no problem. He attacks with the Graveguard first, doesn't do too badly, kills 3 Blood Warriors and puts a wound onto another. And he does lose 1 or 2 back for his trouble, because Blood Warriors are awesome. And then I attack with my Blood Reavers. I think I kill 1 or 2, and then he comes back and kills 1 as well. So then when I attack my Blood Warriors, I don't do very well. I'm only able to kill a single Graveguard, so that was a bit disappointing. Then we go into my turn, and I'm able to... Well, basically, I've got no movement. I go straight into combat. I'm able to... Over here with my Blood Reavers, I kill 2 Skeleton Warriors. It's no big deal, but I would like to do better. Over here, he kills another 3 Graveguard. But then with their attacks and the rest of the guys piling in, I smash apart the remaining Graveguard. That's perfect to have them free. Unfortunately, then with the Skeleton Warriors, he does kill another 2 Blood Reavers, but that's not too bad. In case you're wondering where Valeroth went, he rolled the same one I rolled with the Wight King last game, so he wanders off into an icy mist, which is perfect. So then we go into his turn, and he does another wound on Chuckles, and then he also charges his Graveguard towards Blood Warriors to try and get in the way of them. I was hoping Valeroth would soon turn up and be able to come off at the back board and deal with the Wight King and save Chuckles. He goes to the combat phase. The Skeleton Warriors kill 3 more Blood Reavers, so there's none of that, but that's the only combat that happens. So we go into my turn, and I roll on the Jotunberg Vortex, and I roll number 6, which is Lethal Ice Spasm. So basically, you roll. You have to roll equal to or exceeding the number of wounds that the character has that you're rolling for. If you roll that, they're instantly slain. So I need to roll a 6, and boom! I pop the 6, and the Wight King explodes into 1,000 pieces of icy bone, and that's amazing. So there you have it. Even though Valeroth had wandered off into an icy mist, and that is fantastic.
Chuckles had never been so furious. While he survived the ritual, he had something of great importance stolen from him. a grizzled trophy torn from a dragon's head. This eye, Chuckles said, would allow him to see the true path to pleasing the blood god. This was not something that Valeroth cared for. He had no need to please this apoplectic deity, but he did see the use of Chuckles, and therefore his superstitions. And so they gave chase to the undead warband, retreating to less cold climates. They found their way out of the icy harshness and into a giant marshland. The landscape was much less deadly here, but that did not account for the deceits of the undead. They rose up and without warning smashed into the lines of Valeroth's forces and, at their head, the White. Chuckles knew that his dragon's eye was amongst the foe. He could feel it. But to find it, he'd just have to smash apart every skeleton that stood in his way.
So here is the deployment for the next battle plan, and it's pretty much all deployed on the kind of left-hand side. So I have a 12-inch deployment zone, and he deploys like 6 inches away from me or something. It's quite crazy. But he's on my side. Right at the top, I've got a unit of 10 Blood Reavers. In the middle, that piece of marshland, I've got a unit of 10 Blood Warriors plus Valeroth. Then in the marshy bits below, I've got another unit of 10 Blood Reavers, so they've been added, and Chuckles is down there too, and he is kind of after something. On his side, he's got kind of pretty much everything's in the middle there. He's got his White King, unit of 5 Graveguard, 10 Skeleton Warriors, and 2 Vargeists. He's also got kind of 10 Graveguard deployed underground, and they can come up from where he likes, kind of thing. So, the idea of the game is one of his units has a hidden totem. They've stolen something, Chuckles, and I don't know which one it is, but it'll probably become very clear very quickly. And because he's kind of the defender or the fleer, he gets to choose who goes first, and he chose for himself to go first, as you might expect. So this is what he goes first. The big unit of 10 Skeleton Warriors runs as far as it can away, and everything else charges right into combat. No two guesses to where the hidden thing is. So the 2 Vargeists pile into the back of the Blood Warriors. Is White King and 5 Graveguard pile into the front of the Blood Warriors. So that was going to be a bit of a brutal combat. Yep, so here's them all piling into the combat. He does attack with, I think it's Graveguard first. I think it's Graveguard first. Kills the Blood Warrior, puts a wound onto another, no big deal. Then I pile in with my Blood Warriors in order to smash 4 Graveguard apart and put a wound onto the Vargeist. So not a bad start. Then he attacks with his Vargeist, kills a Blood Warrior and puts a wound onto another, not particularly a big deal. And then I pile him with Valeroth and put a wound onto the White King, who does nothing back, and that's fine, that's good for me. So we jump into my turn, and I was kind of fairly sure that my Blood Warriors could handle what they had. Due to one of the rules of the mission, I can't remember exactly what it is. You roll dice for each of his units, and on a 6 they take some mortal wounds or something like that. And one of his Vargeists pops it from that, which is perfect for me. Do you want me to be more specific? But basically, I just run both units of Blood Reavers, whatever I can, at the Skeleton Warriors. Unit at the top gets pretty far. Unit at the bottom not quite as far with Chuckles, but the unit at the top should be able to get there fairly swiftly. So we go straight into the combat phase after that. I do some piling in, and I'm able to completely delete the last Graveguard and the Vargeist with my Blood Warriors, and put another wound onto the White King, so that's really nice. Unfortunately, the White King does bring up his axe and smash Valeroth in the chest, knocking him down into the swamp, and he will not be getting up for the rest of this game. That was a bit sad, but that just made my Blood Warriors angry. Grr. So then we go to his turn, and his skeletons continue to run as far as they can away. They're just trying to get to the other board edge, and his unit of Graveguard pops up in the middle bit of that forest, ruining thing. So that was a bit concerning, but hopefully, I was hoping here, I could get Chuckles and the bottom unit of Blood Reavers into those Graveguard, while the other unit of Blood Reavers could still run forward and take care of those skeletons. That would be the ideal. So we're going to combat first. He attacks with Krell. He's able to kill a Blood Warrior, I think. No big deal. When I attack, I put 4 wounds under Krell, so he's not dead yet, but he was doing a good job of tying on this Blood Warrior, so it was not ideal for me. Other than that, we go to my turn. Like I said, my Chuckles and the Blood Reavers he's next to run towards the Graveguard, and the other Blood Reavers completely ignore them and try to get after these Skeleton Warriors. In the charge phase, they do make it. Fortunately, I roll like a really high charge, and they completely surround the Skeletons, which is just what I need, because I don't want to sort of hit them just in the back, so they can I need to surround them and hack them to pieces. I also make it into the Graveguard over here with Chuckles and the Blood Reavers. I do attack with these ones first, even though I think that I need to kill the Graveguard first. It's more important to try and get rid of these Skeletons. And I kill 3 of them, so it's not too bad, but I need to do better. When the Graveguard attack me, they are able to kill every single Blood Reaver, which is not good. Fortunately, Chuckles is still standing, so they can't come and do my other Blood Reavers in just yet. Over here, my Blood Warriors pile in around Krell and the White, and smash his head in, which is perfect. Then he attacks with Skeletons. He's able to kill 3 Blood Reavers, so 3 for 3 there, not too bad. And when Chuckles attacks, doesn't do too bad actually. He actually kills 3 or 4 of the Graveguard. So yeah, perfect. Then we go to the initiative roll-off, which he wins. And he retreats from combat from Chuckles with his Graveguard, and they head towards the Blood Reavers. So even though he can't charge his turn, that was a bit scary. So we go into the combat phase. He attacks. We both attack each other. We don't do very much. I think we maybe just kill 1 each. It's not a big deal. So we jump straight into my turn, and the Blood Warriors are now sprinting across the field to try and get involved. And Chuckles runs over that bit of terrain in the middle and makes a beeline for that combat. And he also manages to make a massive charge. I think it's a double 6 and smashes straight into the front of the Skeletons, ready to take back what's his, which is perfect. I do lose one of them for a Blood Reaver for my trouble, and then I kill another couple of Skeletons back. It's no big deal. Then we go into his turn. He piles in his Graveguard straight into the combat, so there's a lot of death happening. He attacks with them first, and he's able to kill all of the remaining Blood Reavers. So now it was a last stand by Chuckles. He had to do it. If he didn't do the job now, which looked very unlikely, my Blood Warriors were just not going to get there in time to take care of those Skeletons. But this is Chuckles, and he does it. He brings up his axe and he smashes apart the last 3 Skeletons, killing that unit, retrieving the item, and winning the game, which is perfect. So there you have it. The end of that battle plan.
Chuckles laughed triumphantly as he grasped the dragon's eye and felt its power sear through his bones. Holding it in his hands caused a blast of rage-fueled magic to discharge, blasting the Skeletons into dust and levelling the trees around him. But the eye was not as it seemed. The shockwave coalesced into a translucent wall of boiling blood and vitreous matter. It stretched across the landscape as far as the eye could see and high up into the heavens. Valeroth approached Chuckles and pointed out that further scores of undead were assembling on the other side of this wall of gore, and so, weapons in hand, they hurled themselves forward.
So, in this battle plan, we're playing Stormfront, that classic game, with Stormfront being a mass of blood and gore. And starting on my side, on the left-hand side, I've got at the top my Blood Warriors. Then in the middle, I've got Valeroth, Chuckles, and a unit of 10 Blood Reavers. And then down at the bottom, I've got another unit of 10 Blood Reavers. Then on his side, starting at the top, he's got his 5 Graveguard, his White King, and then 10 Skeletons. He's also got his 10 Graveguard that are coming up from underneath the ground as well, which is always a good laugh. He finished deploying first, so he's got 3 units, so he lets me go first, and I just charge forward. You can see the gems in the middle of the board. That's representing the Stormfront. That's where that is. Yeah. So I just charge everything as far forward as I can. There's no subtlety to it. So we go to his turn, and he pops his Graveguard up on the behind me on the left-hand side. You can kind of see them in the centre there. His Vargeists, I forgot to mention them, he had 2 Vargeists. They jump up into the centre of that forest onto the rocky things, ready to get some charges, but everything else kind of stays a little bit back. He doesn't really do too much with them. So we go to the charge phase. His Vargeists charge the Blood Reavers here, and his Graveguard make a massive charge into the back of the same unit. So that unit was kind of in trouble because Valeroth's at the back there as well, so I was a bit concerned about that. He attacks with them first, he piles in around, he's able to hack 5 of the Blood Reavers bar, but only a single wound onto Valeroth. He just fluffs his rolls a little bit against him. So that's perfect. So let's say 5, I'm at 8. He kills 8 Blood Reavers. There you go, they're all dead. I do pile in with Chuckles first. He takes a swing at the Vargeists and doesn't do a whole lot of anything. And then they pile in against him and they tear his head off. Just completely annihilate him. That was a bit scary. Then when Valeroth attacks back, he's able to kill 2 Graveguard. Not a big deal. And so yeah, and then the Blood Reavers do very little again because they're Blood Reavers. Go to the Battle Shock phase and those 2 remaining guys flee. I do then realise that these Blood Reavers were in range, so they pile in as well. They do 2 wounds to Vargeist, it's no big deal, and there you have it. So we go to the initiative roll, and I do manage to win it. I also win the roll for the Stormfront, so that shifts in his direction, which is a very nice thing for it to do. And the main thing I do is I move my Blood Warriors down. They really need to get involved with those Graveguard in with Valeroth, because I do not want to lose him. So I'll make a big charge. I smash into the back of the Graveguard. I attack with the Blood Warriors first, as you might expect, and the Blood Warriors do what Blood Warriors do, and they hack the entire unit apart. Oh, I love these guys. They're so good. So consistently good. Then he goes with his Vargeists, and he kills 8 more of the Blood Reavers. Yeah, it's just killing all of them. Then, fortunately, Valeroth was in range to pile in. He piled in and he smashes one of the Vargeists apart. He brings its head off. That's perfect. When the Vargeist, then in the Battle Shock phase, one more of the Blood Warriors runs away. So it didn't kill the entire unit, but there's 1 guy left now. That's no big deal. So we go to his turn, and he does some stuff. He runs his skeletons, the White King, and the unit of 5 Graveguard towards the Bloodbound Horde. He goes into combat first. He tries to make some charges, but he doesn't make any. So he goes into combat first. The Vargeist attacks Valeroth, and there's 2 more wounds to him, so he's not dead yet. And when I attack back, I do a single wound to him. So not the best, but not too bad. So we go to the initiative roll-off, and he wins it, unfortunately. Ugh. So this time he has no problem piling everything in. His skeletons, his Graveguard come in. It doesn't leave room for his White to get in, but that's not too bad. He does attack with his Vargeist first, and he's able to bring Valeroth down, smashing his chest plate in and carving 3 massive gouges through it, which is not good. So again, he's fallen in the field of battle, but there are Blood Warriors close by, and they instantly pile in because they were close enough, and they smash apart 4 Graveguard and 3 Skeleton Warriors. Unfortunately, not killing all of the Graveguard, but could be worse. When the Skeletons pile in, I think they don't do a whole lot. They maybe kill like a Blood Warrior. It's no big deal, really. So then we go to my turn, and because I've got no movement, because everything's now hitting things in that combat, they pile in, and they do really well. I killed the remaining Graveguard, all but 1 of the Skeleton Warriors, and the Vargeist, so they really do manage to hack apart a huge number of things. This is perfect. The only thing I've got left to attack is my Blood Reaver with the banner, who hasn't attacked yet. He piles into that Skeleton Warrior, and he brings him down, which was fantastic. It was so important to kill that one guy, because he's got a banner. If he went into his turn, which he would next, he'd bring these X skeletons back, so it's perfect to have that one Blood Reaver kill him. Go you. So then we go to my turn, and he has a thing, I can't remember, I think it's for the battle plan. You can bring 1 unit back, and he brings one of his units of Graveguard back. As a big unit of 10, so it's a bit scary, but I dealt with them fine last time, so it should be okay. He also moves his White King back towards them, so they're all one big unit rather than leaving the White out in front, because he doesn't want to lose him. When I lost Valeroth, the Stormfront obviously moved way back, 18 inches into my quarter, so it was quite far back, which was a bit scary. But, hey-o. So I charge everything forward, basically. It's very unsubtle. Like this, he charges forward back at me, and he gets into combat with both the White and the unit of Graveguard. He attacks, he's able to kill a total of, with his Graveguard first, he kills that one remaining Blood Reaver and all 4 Blood Warriors. Bit scary, but not too bad. I pile in, and I kind of totally fluff. I think I'm not even sure if I kill 1, which is a bit not very good. Oh no, sorry, I kill 4 of them because there was 10 to start. Yeah, so I kill 4 Graveguard. So it's a start, but it's not perfect. Then I pile in, sorry, and then I kill. So that was with the attacks back after I died. Then I attack with my Blood Warriors, able to kill all but 2. So I kill another 4. So that's really good going. Then he attacks with his White, and he kills 2 more Blood Warriors. And he loses another 1 Graveguard to Battle Shock. So we're going to his turn, and 2 of his Graveguard return because that's the banner, which was rubbish. And he attacks. He kills. He attacks with the Graveguard first. Kills 2 Blood Warriors. Doesn't take anything back for his trouble. But then my champion manages to attack and kill all 3 remaining Graveguard. And this left just the champion and the White King one-on-one, mono-a-mono, against each other. So we move them up here just for cinematic purposes. So we actually attack each other for a couple of rounds here. But to be honest with you, it doesn't go very well for me. The White King brings up his black axe and smashes it through the would-be champion's head and kicks him into the cracks of rock. He falls down broken and buckled, leaving the White as the only remaining person on the field. And there you have it, a victory for the White King.
As the would-be champion fell, broken and bloodied into the crevice between cracked stone, the White collected himself and once again raised his comrades. He could only see 1 life left on the battlefield, that of Valeroth himself. He idly stalked his way to him to find a man near death, with a chest plate half caved in and 3 thick tears carved through it. The White knelt down and tore off his helmet to gaze into the bright, charismatic eyes of Valeroth. He was surprised to see those eyes. He was expecting to see dark, brooding eyes typical of the mindless, blood-bound hordes. He noticed the angry, writhing hammer on the ground next to him and picked it up. Valeroth cursed and spat at him, but he could barely move. The White silently turned and left, leaving him to his death. But death did not come. The Blood God's attention had been drawn, and he willed that Valeroth's suffering should not end so easily.